I'm lifting my arms up over my head and bringing my hands down to my chest. What is your call right now? Is it stillness? Is it movement with me? Sometimes when I bring my hands over my head, I want to extend my palms forward, as you might be able to see, and even change the positioning of my feet. How does it feel the direction that you're facing? What if you tried facing a different direction? My feet are as is. In fact, I've even just improvised. I've gotten a terry cloth fabric here and listening to the body, allowing myself to flow a bit from side to side, bending one knee as one leg lengthens and vice versa. And now notice how just this most subtle shift in how the hips and shoulders are related to one another can change the visual and the experience, more importantly. With legs wide as I rock from side to side, sometimes, as you noticed, I brought my arm up, opposite arm to the opposite side I went to. So you might still be on that, or you might come down here to a simple squat. Simple is a term that maybe is used too often. Everybody has different felt sense and different experience in the body, so it's going to look different for all of us. That's a simple truth. And I think the word simple goes well with the word truth. As we're here, the heels might be up, they might be down, and all are nonetheless, regardless of what choice is made. I'm rubbing my palms together with the rapidity as if I were starting a fire. I want to feel the heat in my hands. Notice if you can feel the heat in your hands, and then sending that heat back to the self to illuminate the self, expand the self. Heat melts tensions and it expands the self. So hand to elbow, hand to elbow. Maybe you're still experiencing hands in front of the face or around the body, palms facing toward the body and feeling that heat. Maybe you've continued onward from there. Nevertheless, we are never less than for choosing to stay in one position or another, longer or shorter. This is a variation of chair posture. My hands are on my hips. They might be alongside the ears, palm facing one another, jetting out on either side of the upper body. You might stay there, or you might lengthen the legs as much as is comfortable. And I'm experiencing a sense of needing to dislodge some stuckness in my lower torso, so I am doing these simple roll, rock and roll, rounding and lengthening, tucking and hinging, as you saw. In a very real sense, that was a lot of different motions in a short amount of time, such as yoga tends to introduce. So I'm here, I'm ready. My feet are really feeling pressed into the earth, and I'm ready to volcano my spine forward, just allowing my upper body to rest over the strength of my legs in forward fold, and a slow roll up with a bend in my knees. I always want to be careful, as is everybody with the human body wants to be careful with bending the knees as we roll up to protect the strength in the back and the integrity in the legs and the long-standing comfort in the legs. working out of the joints, always in the malleability, flexibility of the body. So this holding on to one wrist with one hand and doing circles with my torso feels awesome in between my ribs, which really helps to expand my breathing capacity. So as we're naturally breathing here together, you might try something like that. Notice that I bent my knees a bit there to get the strength sensation in my legs even more before I lengthen the legs without locking the knees, never locking the knees, and stood straight again. And now hands are at my heart center. You might still be where I was. You might feel a moment that you need to tend to, like I did with those pelvic tilts a moment ago. Self-soothing is the number one cornerstone of TCY, trauma and cooperative yoga. I am here, as you can see, but as we know, there's a lot more to the experience of yoga than what we can see. So you might be practicing along there in that plank posture and then coming down, lowering yourself down. And what I just did there was an upward facing dog, hands under the shoulders, and now I'm pressing back to a simple resting posture. And by simple, once again, maybe your hands are underneath your head. For me, my arms are forward, hands are forward. Sometimes I take closed hand on top of closed hand on top of one another stacked with my forehead on top of a closed hand or two to help to create more length and pliability throughout my whole body system. Having the expectation that we're going to be able to easily press back or forward is too much on any system. Every body is different. So this is my jam. It might not be yours, but cat-cow is what this is called. Getting the cerebral spinal fluid flowing in the spinal column, and of course that results in greater cerebral spinal fluid in your brain. I've extended one leg out, feeling what it's like here to bend my leg and lift the heel up to the sky and lengthen it. Playfulness is the saving grace. What does it feel like to lengthen the leg, bend the leg? What does it feel like to bring the knee toward the forehead toward the knee in that cat position where you're rounding your spine? What are the options in any moment to explore what the body needs? We need to first get plugged into our sensations. That is why there is flexibility in the impetus to move, in encouraging you to find what your body needs. Yes, my hands are under my shoulders here, my knees are under my hips. That yes, that is something that you want to model. Beyond that, explore, move slowly, be careful with your body, and take the time to get to know your body. What you know is comfortable, what you are comfortable with trying, try it. If you're moving slowly and you're comfortable with trying something because you've seen it performed by someone else, then what you know, what you like, what you trust, try it. Of course, in one-on-one classes, there's a lot more detailed giving, whether it's virtual or in person. However, always trademarks of my registered trademark and style of yoga, trauma cooperative yoga, meeting needs, self-soothing, and learning how to take initiative. So these are skills that we can transfer off the yoga mat. And this video is meant to encourage you, inspire you, and promote your own self-inquiry and your own self-discovery and self-defining, determining what we need, how we're going to support that need, and then determining what that action looks like. Meeting needs, self-soothing, taking initiative. This is a self-embrace. Just pausing here long enough, squeezing the arms toward the body, and then rotating, pivoting. What is it like to face a different direction now and practice the same wiring of the self that is ready to step into new actions, new ways of expressing through the body. And of course, this does a number on the mind too. The mind will follow that path of reorganization when we're so brave to try new things in our lives. The emotional self and the mind jumps on board. If you're here and you've lifted up a leg, maybe you're staying there longer than I have, good on you. Again, longer, shorter duration is no reflection of one's potential on or off the mat. The point is to keep flowing, keep moving, and of course, as mentioned, touching on those 3 cornerstones that I listed off a moment ago. Let's face one another, and if you feel connected to doing so, bow in gratitude. Thank you for being here and putting your full self into this practice with me. Aloha.